Hello, everybody. It's Mark and Debbie again.
Hi.
Put your hands over your ears. You know what we're going to play.
And tonight's topic, very profound, is your spirit guide trying to get your attention? And the subtitle, we really mean, are you ignoring your guides, not paying attention to them, ignoring the communication that they're giving you? And what impact is that having on your life? We're not really covering that, but work that one out for yourself.
Yeah,
Figure it out yourself. We're going out.
Yeah. So before we go any further, Debbie, how's Bob?
My husband is doing better. He's still in the ICU, but he is off the vent and things are slowly starting to get a little bit better. So thank you for all your prayers.
Thank you. That's good news to get started with. Okay, so folks, this is the third and last video that we're doing on the subject of guides. What we're going to talk about tonight is very specific. As the title said, this is what are you aware that your guides are trying to communicate with you, speak at you, might even be a case of shout at you. What should you be looking for and how do you react, that kind of thing. Before we do that, it's news time. Now, since we're talking about guides and since we've been talking about our AI rain system for about the last 3 months, two bits of news first. So let me show you an advert first. This is actually an advert that's running on Facebook, but it's all about Rain, the AI tool that we've got. So watch this and it'll give you an idea of what we're about to show you. Hello, want to be a professional medium in 6 months or develop at your own pace? At Mark Stewart Medium Training, we teach evidential, rapid-fire mediumship Scottish-style techniques that get results. No more begging for sitters. You'll have people coming to you for readings. Our AI advisor, Rain, will guide you, answer your questions and get you started. And let's be honest, in Scotland, Rain is always on the way. AI is here, but it can never do what a medium does. It can't connect with spirit or deliver real evidence. That's why a mediumship business is more valuable than ever. Come to our 3 training session. We'll have you connected in just one go and leave you imagining where we can take you in 6 months. Fill in the form and Rain will contact you within minutes. Okay, so let's just imagine that you saw that advert on Facebook. What do we mean by fill in the form and what happens thereafter? Well, just give me a few seconds just to share my screen.
There'll be a link and you click on it.
So basically, it'll take you to a web page, or you'll find this on our web pages. Let me just get over here. So obviously, you've got to fill your details in. So let me just fill them in. There you go. So there's all my details. Now, you'll then get this little text message coming up. I'm not going to read it out, but basically it's just telling you about us, what we do. But then you can type in here. So since we're talking about guides, Debbie, do you want to give me is there anybody out there that would like to give us a question? We've got a few people watching just now. Give us a question to ask Rain. Anybody?
Anyone?
Okay, so Colin, Deborah, Patrick, hello. Okay, well, since nobody's doing it, let me just type in, what is a guide? let's start there. Now, we've covered this in detail in the last 2 events, but now remember, this is live now. It would help if I could see my question mark, and I shouldn't be. There we go.
Can't spell either, but that's okay.
There you are. You see it's coming up and giving an explanation as to what a guide is. And it's quite
perfect.
detailed.
That's a lot of information.
And at the bottom, there's a link. You can click that link, and that's essentially where people can register to come to one of our free training events. What we do, it's basically a circle where we'll handhold you at whatever level you're at, take you to the point where you're giving a reading, maybe give you a reading, and then we'll basically get you coming on board. Okay, so it's enough of that. If anybody got a different question they want to ask, come back to us and we can bring Rain back and they can take part.
We can always bring Rain back.
Absolutely.
We just do the little rain dance and yeah.
Okay, folks, so let's get back to what we're talking about. So, guides are talking all the time. Do you pick up on it? Do you listen to it? And if so, how? So, is your spirit guide trying to get your attention? So what do you think, Debbie? How would you answer that?
Absolutely. I can always tell, because if I start ignoring signs and signals and little things like that, I will get a very loud ringing in my ear to get my attention.
Okay.
And so I have to turn around and go, okay, what? And then it goes away.
Yeah. I personally say that there are about 5 different ways that guides communicate with people. Mm-hmm. So let's just go through them one at a time. So is your spirit trying to get your attention? Well, we've already asked that question. Synchronicities, messages and patterns. Now, what do we mean by that? You're going through life and the same thing keeps happening. Twice is a coincidence. 3 times is an extended coincidence. But when it's happened 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, for me, it's the number 13. Every time I'm involved in any kind of business deal that's going to go well, that's going to be good, the number 13 comes up. When I started my property business, I bought a portfolio. My first portfolio that I bought was 13 properties. The first property I bought, the number on the door was 13. Now I ended up with 142 properties. So you can take it that business did kind of well. Friday the 13th. For me, it's the luckiest day on the planet because things always go fantastically for me. Debbie, you're nodding?
Yeah, I'm also 13. Friday the 13th is always a lucky day for me, and 13 is my lucky number. Of course it is, because that's a synchronicity that he and I got together, and we both have the same lucky number. But I also see 3s a lot. Three. I woke up at 3:33 this morning. I pulled into the driveway at 3:33 this afternoon.
3:33. Okay. So we're not just talking about seeing the same things. It can be any kind of pattern, words, people, anything where 2 or 3 things happen at the same time that, yes, it is synchronistic, but it's your guides that are making it happen. And when they're making it happen, there's a reason. It might just be that you're at the right place at the right time for the right job interview. It might be that you're at the right place at the right time to help somebody else. I mean, we're assuming that it's you that's getting the benefit of this, but this works both ways. Okay, so that was the first. What else have we got? Following your inner compass. Well, Debbie, you're a woman. You've got woman's intuition.
Yes, of course I do.
Well, tell us about it.
Tell us about it. Well, I mean, I know things before they happen, or I feel things. Like I feel like something's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And I always feel like that's a message from a guide for sure. If I have a knowing, if I wake up with a knowing of something.
Yeah.
Or that just comes to me and I know something's going to happen. I feel like that definitely comes from my guides.
Yeah. To be honest, to hit the nail in the coffin, it's exactly the same as getting messages from spirit. I mean, guides are spirits, obviously, but Debbie and I are both professional mediums, and we teach mediumship, and we teach people that they get messages. Everybody's different, like I always laugh. You get some training, especially online training courses, that's not actually sitting in a circle. You get a textbook style approach, clairaudience.
Oh yeah.
They just go through all the clairs and learn all of these, and you'll be a working medium. Right? Crap. Every medium receives messages differently. I mean, yes, there's some people are clairsentient, some people are clairaudient. I'm dyslexic. I get them all mixed up. I can never remember them.
Which one's which? Well,
yeah, no, I just did the actual names for them. But
I can't list them all.
Yeah, but people come into the circle, and the first job that we do as the circle leader is essentially to learn how people are communicating or being communicated with spirit. Now, getting back to the case in point, what does that mean for being with your guides? Well, once you teach them, I mean, for example, one way that people often miss out on communication with spirit is spirit are putting words in their mouth, how they're actually speaking. So we all speak to ourselves. Like I do. I mean, and yes, I'm crazy. I speak to myself
all the time, especially when there's nobody home. I pretend I'm talking to my cat, but I'm really talking to myself.
Yeah, but quite often those words are being put there by spirit. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how many times have you seen me do this, Debbie? Somebody's giving a message, da 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 da, and then when I'm giving them feedback at the end, I'll say, "You know how you said that phrase? Yeah, but I haven't seen you do that before." Oh, So then you go to the person that was getting the message and say, "Does that phrase mean something out with the context, or does that word?" And then the sitter will come back and say, "Oh God, yes, Uncle Charlie was da 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 da." And then you go back to the person you're training and you see, right, so why did you say that word? And they'll say, "Oh, I wasn't even aware of it. I wasn't thinking." So you say to them, right, we'll start paying attention to what you're saying and how you're saying it. Mm-hmm. And if you feel that you're going to use it in a different way, do it, but pay attention to the word, and then go back to the sitter and say, "I just said cross the road. Does the word cross mean something?" "Oh, yeah, my granny was religious and she used to have a cross around her neck." So there you are. There's a piece of evidence that's come out in the phraseology. So when you're talking to yourself, if you suddenly feel yourself getting a phrase, a sentence, a word, pay attention to it. It happens to me all the time. And I can think of one time I was working. I mean, you can tell the way I talk. I'm involved in business. I was working on a spreadsheet. I had been looking at it for days, trying to get an answer to a simple question. And it was just a simple formula that I needed to put in to give me the data that I needed, but I had a mental block on it. And then I was in the bathroom and singing actually, and I sang a line in a song. And the actual words in the song, it just snapped like that, because I went back to the spreadsheet. Oh my God, yeah, if I take that and divide that by that and do this and that and this and that and this, exactly this. I mean, it was a lot. This was years ago. But this was exactly how that wording in that song worked in my brain.
That's interesting.
Bearing in mind, I'm also dyslexic, so you have to take that into account as well.
I usually get, when I wake up with a song in my head, that usually dictates how my day is going to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, come on, Debbie. Give us a song then.
The song this morning, it was Defying Gravity, so.
Come on. Song and dance routine.
I'm not going to sing it. Now y'all would cringe.
Okay, right. So what's the next way? When there's chaos around you and you're suddenly calm. Now we've all experienced this. Don't tell me that there's somebody here that hasn't. Chaos is going around you. The SHIT, I'm not going to swear on a stream broadcast, hits the fan. People are screaming at you, people are shouting at you, you're getting agitated, and then all of a sudden, you just take a deep breath, you sit down, and you're calm. And everybody around you is still going chaotic. Why did you suddenly get calm? Because your guides were reaching out. They were putting an injection in your head to calm you down, to speak to you.
It's just the spirit guide's version of Valium.
We're all drug addicts, aren't we? So, I mean, basically, if that happened to me, I would stop. I would going back to the example I gave with the spreadsheet. Why did they calm me down at that point? I often find that when spirit do it to me, I'm concentrating on the effects as opposed to the cause. What I mean by that, let's say I'm having an argument with somebody and I'm too busy concentrating on what they're saying to argue with them and say, no, you're wrong. You've got to see my point of view. Whereas if you step back and ask yourself, why is that person actually arguing like that? Now, it can be as simple as, you're going to hit me over the head for saying this, Debbie, but it might just be the time of the month for the female that you're arguing with.
Okay, all females watching this, feel free to hit him over the head.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'll punch him next time I see him in person. It'll be good.
Yeah, somebody's upset about something and they're expressing that through the arguments that they're giving you. The number of times I've been involved in an argument with somebody and they've been arguing over things that are so trivial and so irrelevant, and the deal is falling apart, and then you step back and it's something, usually it's something really simple that you can solve. I mean, here's an example. Here's an example from a television program, and you're going to laugh at this.
Okay.
It was a program called the Aneidan Line, which was about a sailor. We're talking Victorian sailing ships.
Okay.
And he was trying to buy a warehouse, and the woman had an exact price. And it was a ludicrous price. It was far more valuable than the warehouse, and she knew that she would never get the price, but she was holding out for this price because she needed that money to buy a house in France. Now, he owned a ship. He had contacts in France. So once he knew that, he was able to send a telegram, go find me a house in France. He then put all her belongings on the ship, sailed her to France, and then transported her to this new house that he had bought for £250.
Nice.
Whereas she thought she needed the £600. Now, that's a bad example. I mean, I'm not saying that he had a spiritual guide that was telling him to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But especially in business, I mean, Debbie knows, I'm in the process of actually buying another podiatry clinic for my wife at the moment. And with this negotiations going on as we speak, watch this space, because I'll soon have a reading room in Edinburgh as well as one in Pennycook near Roslyn. So people will be able to book me in the city centre, but put that aside, that's further down the road. But quite often, the chap's offering us the clinic at a price that's ludicrous in terms of low.
Yeah.
And we're actually saying, oh God, there must be something wrong.
And
it turns out, don't laugh. It's on paper, it's a really profitable business. It's in a fantastic location. It's at a price that we're sitting there saying, are we being conned? But it turns out that actually what's more important to this guy's run this business for 40 years. He's got 7,500 patients, and he wants podiatrists to take over the clinic that are going to look after the patients.
Right.
So we're rolling out the red carpet. We're bringing them down to our clinic. We're taking, the clinic employs 3 podiatrists. So I'm taking the 3 podiatrists to his clinic so he can meet them. The phones are going to be answered by Karen, who Debbie knows. She works in the clinic, so she's going as well. So again, it's all about making the man feel soft and fluffy, probably the best way to describe it.
Fuzzy,
so he gets
that's warm and fuzzy. That's what we say in the States.
Yeah. Anyway, getting digressed, but I knew that we had to do something different. Instead of just go in and, all right, okay, show us your bank statement, all the rest of it, and it's working. Okay, so how are we doing time-wise? Quick check.
You've got 11 minutes.
Okay, so let's speed it up a wee bit then. So, there's the obvious one. Dream messages, symbolic and vivid guidance. How many times do you waken up with your dreams? I never remember my dreams, so that doesn't work.
I don't either. So very rarely,
Yeah, agreed. Very rarely. But if you do waken up, if you do remember the dream, well, Pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we got through that one very quickly. Unless anybody's had any vivid dreams they want to tell us about. Physical sensations, feeling their presence.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, this is the one that's most overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
it's
it's
the one,
kind of like the ringing in the ear. I mean, that's physical.
yeah. Although for me, it's keys or glasses.
Keys or
Like,
glasses?
yeah, it happened to me today. I had to go out. The microwave blew up yesterday, so I need
Oh,
a new
no.
microwave. And all the microwave meals in the fridge I can't cook till I buy a new
Right.
microwave. So I had to go shopping for food. So I mean that was neither here nor there. But there was something else that I had to do when I was going out that I had completely forgotten about, and I couldn't find my glasses. So literally, I can't drive without wearing. I know I'm not wearing glasses just now, but I legally cannot drive without wearing my glasses. I spent 10 minutes looking for my glasses, and they were nowhere. I looked in all my usual places. I looked at all the places I had been with, all the places I would have put in the glasses down, and I could not find them. And then I suddenly remembered, oh, I've got to go and do ABC. So went away, got the bit that I needed to deliver, put it in my coat pocket, and then within 10 seconds, what did I find? My glasses.
Your glasses. They hit them so that you wouldn't,
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave without the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be anything. It could be, I mean, how many times have you, I mean, I think this always happens to people. You can't find your keys. Now, I actually gave a reading to somebody. So this would be about 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He came in when I wasn't there. Remember I mentioned Karen. It was when we were in America. And this guy came into the clinic when I wasn't there. And he spoke to, actually, no, it wasn't Karen. It was Kim, who's one of the podiatrists that works in the clinic. And he said, is Mark here? No. Can I book Mark? And she didn't know how to book me. Despite the fact I've shown her 3 times how to book me. But never mind. Where do we get these stuff? Anyway, put that aside. So she just wrote down his name, the plumber. So I came back. So knew who it was immediately. Now, this is the last person on the planet who would book me for a reading. To say skeptic, over the hill, because when he was building the clinic, you have to see the property to understand what it's like. Basically, the clinic's at the back of the building, and the waiting area is what I use as my reading room on a Monday. It's got nice Gothic chairs and all the things you wouldn't expect in a clinic. Anyway,
Right.
So when all this was being installed, he was making fun of me and all the rest of it. So I phoned him up. Right, okay, fine. He booked me. Went to his house, met him and his fiance and the kids. They were being haunted. I mean, literally haunted.
Yeah.
And the spirit was moving things around the house.
Yep.
And he was speaking to the children, and the children's toys were being moved. Now, we're talking about toddlers. So, it wasn't a case of the toddler had stood up, picked up the toy, carried it up the stairs or down the stairs, because that kind of thing was happening. Toys that were physically impossible for children of this age to move were being moved. Right. They were actually I think they were getting ready to get divorced because they were each accusing the other one of doing it.
Oh,
and
wow.
they were terrified. They actually got to the point where the spirit revealed itself to them, and they saw the spirit in the child's room. So, of course, they're thinking, oh, God, Omen style, we've got to get Mark in to save us. So
I do a lot of those house cleansings, too, so I know what that's like.
Yeah. So it just turned out it was an uncle. It was a distant uncle who just was trying to draw attention to them. He had a business. This guy was he's a plumber, self-employed, had a business, coming back to my business background again. And he was literally trying to just let them know he was here so that XYZ. And that was it.
Yep.
And he was also moving keys around. So if your keys are moving around, watch out for the keys moving.
It's my vape that always disappears. It disappears. And I blame it on the Fae every single time. It's not spirits.
Okay, folks. Right. So we're coming to the end. Let me just check and see if anybody's been... Yeah, a few comments, but nothing that's going to change the world. Colin, I think we've answered your question, Colin. Patrick, good. Everybody should know their guides. Every medium should. So you're in Ireland, Patrick. Okay, didn't know that. That's an intelligent comment, Deborah.
Okay. Oh, what?
Okay, so we're going to be closing down in about 5 minutes. So if anybody would like to ask another question to Rain, just our usual shout outs. We will be doing another newsletter in approximately 2 weeks that will give basically the next sort of like February, beginning of March list of titles. So if anybody wants to register for that, that's where you find it. markstewartmedium.com/newsletter. Just fill your details in. We're not going to sell you anything. You'll just get a monthly newsletter sent out with all the dates. Just a reminder, I haven't got the event set up on Facebook yet, but I'm doing a new streamed event very soon, marking his cards.
Yay.
Wherever you're watching us, if you're watching us on YouTube, please follow us. Like or subscribe. Sorry, it's subscribe on it's subscribe on YouTube. It's follow on Facebook. Helps us build up an audience, and obviously you'll get notifications.
Yay. Anytime we do something new.
And if anybody does want to come to a circle, fill out that form to register for a circle. Now you only get to come, just be absolutely clear, we've had 1 or 2 people register a few times for more than one circle. You only get to come to the circle once, so that we can demonstrate to you what we do. So that's about it, really. We've got a circle to go to. We have to go. If anybody's got any final questions they'd like to give to Rain, where do you find Rain? Go to the website, markstewartmedium.com. Let me just show you what that looks like on the website. Bear with me for 2 seconds. So that's my website. And as you can see,
Rain is right there.
Now, also, so that we don't freak you out, Rain will also send you emails and will text with you. So if you start a conversation and it will ask you a question, and if you don't answer it, it'll send you an email and a text. So this is not, just remember, this is not us sending out mass emails and texts. We've spent about 3 months developing this AI. It's been developed by a company called SalesApe, which is based in London. A lot of time and effort's gone into this, so you can actually have a full conversation. If you want to book either of us for a reading, that's the starting point. Just register, type in "I want to book Devi" or "I want to book Mark for a reading," and it'll give you links so you can register with us. Want to come to a circle? It will give you a link where you can register with the circle. Want to get me to work in a church? Just type, "We want to get Mark to work in a church," and it will send you. You want to see us working as mediums? Just say you'd like to see us working on a stage, working in a church, working on Zoom, working in a private reading, doing training. It's got access to videos of all of that, so you can prove that we're the real McCoy, to use the Scottish expression. Let me just, my mouse is going. Okay.
Oh, no. Not now. He can't end the stream. Sorry, guys. We're going to be on for hours.
There we are. I've got it back.
Yay. Well, thank you all for coming, and fabulous. And we will see you all on Sunday. Yes,
where we're starting a stream of 3 talks, this time on people that are at the beginning that want to become spiritual mediums. The phrase is develop as mediums, what they should be doing. We're going to cover some of the things that most people don't think about. These are people that are going to circles, like, the 3 circles on Facebook. We're not going to be criticizing the circles. We're not going to be telling them, we're not doing training. but we are going to be telling them the things they need to think about. You know, you come across people that go to like 20 circles on Facebook and nothing ever happens of it. So these are the kind of things that they're not thinking about when they're doing. So been a pleasure. We've got a circle to go to. Good night.
Bye. Or maybe goodbye.
Quite the wrong button.